Thank you for watching, and remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your support.
We are not out of talking about Trump. Here, we still have a lot to talk about.
We sure do. We've got Hurricane Sam that continues to be a major player there in the middle of the Atlantic. Fortunately, not a major player for hitting a landmass. Then we've got an invest area 91L, and look at this, a new tropical depression, TD20.
Yeah, we are up to 20. That's right, guys. Here's a closer look at Sam, still looking very healthy on its, I think, 5th day as a hurricane, and not just a hurricane, but a major hurricane that is thriving right now.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, you can clearly see there's the eye showing up as well. We've seen a few of these eye wall replacement cycles with this thing, and there are the hurricane hunters flying and getting ready to move on in to get a bit of a better fix on what's going on with this thing again. And again, it's not all about, okay, figuring out who's going to be hit. We have a pretty good handle on where this is going to be going, but a lot of what they'll find that will be very good and key for future storm analysis as well. So really key information they're going to be going to get.
Yeah, anytime you've got a major hurricane like this and you can get out there and you can get as much data on it as you can, it's valuable for moving forward and forecasting. Now, speaking of the forecast for this is going to be steered, one, by a dip in the jet stream, keeping it away from the U.S. We're happy about that, but also by that high pressure that's very strongly in command of this storm.
So that northward jog should continue here for us, and fortunately, again, missing the islands there, the Leeward Islands, but also should miss Bermuda as well. There are the computer models here. I mean, there's about as closely packed as you can get when it comes to computer models and taking the center well east of Bermuda.
But as we know, and as we've said quite a bit, that just because this is staying offshore, you can see the forecast here, staying away from Bermuda, that does not mean that we're not going to have impacts. When you have a major hurricane, even when you have just a tropical storm out in the ocean, it creates that energy that eventually batters the coastlines, and that's what we're going to see happening from the Lesser Antilles through the Greater Antilles and all up and down the east coast of the U.S. as well.
Yeah, so remember with Larry, where we had that thing that was in the middle of the Atlantic, again, stayed well away, but we had issues in the waters. Similar scenario here when it comes to what's going on with Sam, waves, rip current risk along the east coast, and again, some of the islands as well.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on if you were planning on heading to the beach.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we want to revisit most of the computer models taking at least the center well east of the island, so certainly some good news there.
Yeah, definitely good news that you want to see. But what is going to be problematic here is, regardless of the fact that Sam is so far offshore, staying offshore, you see as we move through the weekend and into early next week, we are still going to have those swells that are impacting all of the eastern coast, the island chains here, and the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles still. So if maybe you're getting in some of those vacations to more tropical spots, the beaches are going to be really rough.
Yeah, and it becomes problematic because a lot of those areas, it might be beautiful out there. You're like, oh, this is great to get into the waters, but got to be careful. That rip current risk is going to be pretty high in a number of areas.
Yeah, so of course we've got Sam there, but you can see the couple invest areas that we have rolling through the tropical Atlantic, still bringing some of that spin, a couple different things to watch. Now, as you'll notice, the model's keeping that out over the open Atlantic as well. Seeing a little spin pop up there in the Western Atlantic, but the models aren't too gung-ho with anything in the next couple weeks, which is really good news.
Yeah, so yeah, we still have to follow it and certainly be vigilant with any of these entities because things can throw us for a loop here, and so we just got to make sure we maintain a watch on all these different systems because we still have a good bit of the season to go, good 31% of the activity left. We sometimes get a bit of a peak in October before we see that downward trend as we move our way through the month of November.
That's that little peak that disheartens me, that little peak that we see there kind of mid-October. We've had formidable storms in October, so not time to let your guard down yet, but of course, we've got you here. The Weather Channel will always let you know if you've got something coming.
Absolutely. All right.
The tree with hot apple cider and a little splash of Fireball.
Huh.
Yeah, you got your little cinnamon in there.
Okay.
It adds a little flavor to your Christmas tree decorating.
Right. No judgment.
So you can't go wrong with hot apple cider. I'm just saying.
All right, listen, we're here with you the next few days. We're getting closer and closer to that weekend today, our Wednesday, keeping the threat for rain across the lower Mississippi Valley, Gulf coastal zones, and then also across the northern central plains.
We're going to continue to see that moisture lifting in, and we're going from fall in a lot of places to a reintroduction of summer. Tons of moisture moving in. You can see that atmospheric river of moisture lifting all the way up through the plains of the Mississippi River Valley. Not just there, though, some rain moving in to the Pacific Northwest as well.
Now, that clears out by Friday there in the Northwest, but we're still seeing showers and storms, southern plains into Texas. Got a bit of a wet week on tap across parts of the Lone Star State.
Yeah, but look at that forecast for New York as we head through Saturday. Lower 70s, a mix of sun and clouds. I'll take that. In Atlanta, mid 80s, sunshine. I'm not going to complain.
Well, I could.
I won't.
I won't, though. We'll get into Sunday, and again, slow movement with our system coming east. Ohio Valley, getting to the interior Northeast, a little bit more rain and a bit more cloud cover showing up in the Northeast. Although I think a spot like NYC should stay dry.
LA, you guys are going to be in the mid 80s as we head through early next week. Nice warm time for you. Staying dry there.
All right, we got.